People of the internet, Andrew Schulz broke the internet with his Bernie Sanders interview, and today we're going to look at two parts which people are talking about the most. So settle in, because here we go.
We have a question we want to ask about what happened to you in 2016 with this Bernie Bros movement, where your followers are seeing they have a racism problem, a misogyny problem. Do you think that's a super PAC thing behind that?
That was the Democratic establishment. That was the.
Wow. Okay.
That was just, they were sitting there. We had a lot of young people. We had people of color, and they create this kind of myth with the help of the corporate media and all that stuff.
It's kind of interesting to that.
I used to believe in politics, and I used to think that maybe somehow the world could get better if we all just came together and made things better. But that right there shows that no matter how hard you fight, no matter how hard you try to rally people behind a good cause, there are always these super wealthy people controlling the chessboard. And there's really nothing we can do about it. And I'm glad Bernie Sanders is finally saying this. I wasn't really into that election at all. I just kind of ignored it. And that was the election where I started to lose faith, because I was watching it and I saw what they did to Bernie Sanders, and everybody saw what they did to Bernie Sanders. And I just thought, man, you just can't be a good person and be in politics. You just can't. And Bernie Sanders has his faults, but just sitting back, not on either side, right? Just watching, I just thought, man, that's such a low blow to do something like that to a political candidate, because he actually created a big movement on his own. He raised all that money, and it was all for nothing. And I think if you have elections, they have to be fair. And if they're not fair, then why even have an election?
Note is, during this election, the podcast space, which the Democrats largely avoided, they feel had some influence in the election, and they started to label us the podcast bros, and said that we were sexist and we were racist and bigoted. It's almost like it's the exact same strategy to get you out of there.
Yeah, that's what the liberal elite China does.
That's right. And it's not just the liberal elite. Both sides will do it if it benefits their agenda. And it's terrible. You can't have this country that has the Constitution and has all these amendments and rights for people that give them freedoms and so on. And then you just cheat, and it's crazy, because if we cheat on our taxes, if we steal like a candy bar, if we do anything that breaks those laws or things that are in place, we're getting hemmed up right away. I mean, if you get caught, right? You're getting hemmed up right away, and you're going to get punished. You're going to go to court. But for these guys, they just do whatever they want. They start wars. They do all this crazy stuff in the name of whatever cause. But then behind the scenes, they're rigging the playing field. And it's really unfair. And one of the reasons I just have no faith in politics.
They run away. Look, again, I would hope that everybody who's watching the program is that we as a nation have got to end all forms of bigotry, right?
Yes.
That I start off as a basic assumption.
Unless it's to your close friends, right?
Yeah, whether it's racism or sexism, homophobia, or xenophobia, whatever it is. But, liberal Democrats talk about that all the time. And then you get to what we call identity politics.
Yeah.
That you're black, you're wonderful, you're tremendous, you're gay, you're the greatest human being on earth.
Yeah.
And rather than say, what do you stand for?
Exactly.
You're gay, that's fine, who cares?
Yeah.
But what do you?
I completely understand this too, because the other side of identity politics is it championed all of these people that fit certain criteria, but then there's a majority of people that don't fit that criteria. And it made everyone feel left out and like they weren't represented. And, the Democrats paid for it dearly, because you can't isolate a whole bunch of people in the country and then expect to win. You can't punish people for not accepting values. It's just like, we have to accept that some people just believe differently. And you even see it on the internet. that if you don't like something or don't support something, people then just decide to attack you and come at you like, oh, you don't think exactly the same as I do, you're wrong. And it's just so stupid how people have gotten that way. And it's like, look, we can all believe different things, but maybe we should start to just like grant some basic human rights to people, like healthcare, education, things like that. And get behind that. You can go believe what you want, post, but like, can we come together? Because these guys are making people poor. They're making rules that take our money. Like, it's crazy. If you invest in an account, you know, like say an annuity, you've already paid all, you have that money. So you've either paid taxes if you inherited it, you've paid taxes if you worked for it. And then when you take money out of your annuity up to a certain amount, then you get taxed again. And these fucking rules are insane. Like they tax us. Like you get taxed on your paycheck. Then you go to the store and you get taxed again. And then maybe that item you bought at the store, you sell it, and then you get taxed again. It's just like they've created a system where we always lose and where we're always bleeding money. And I wish people could just get over like the stupid shit. Believe what you want about identity politics and, you know, all this stuff. Okay, cool. But that is not what we're voting for. We're voting for basic human rights. And I think all people should be granted human rights. I think all people should be able to love who they love or marry who they marry. It's just like, can we agree on some of these things? Because a lot of the things don't matter. They don't matter at all. You know, and the things that are really affecting our lives, like healthcare, education, unemployment, the amount of money we get for this and that, they are just crippling us. And it's just so tiresome to just hear. Like, you know, hearing Bernie Sanders talk is no different than they were talking 40 years ago. And you look at the Iraq and Afghanistan war, it's no different than the Vietnam War. These things, these oligarchs just keep putting us in wars, making tons of money, making us work at very low wages. And I don't know how you stop it. Like, people have to like massively rise up and, you know, or whatever, but I just don't know how you stop it.
It's there for.
Yeah.
You know, is every gay person brilliant and wonderful and great? No, of course not. Everybody's a human being.
Yeah.
So the issue is what you stand for, which gets you back to what we discussed earlier, class politics, in the sense of which side are you on? Are you going to stand with working families? Are you going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage or not? Are you going to fight to guarantee health care to all people or not? Are you going to demand that the wealthiest people start paying their fair share of taxes or not? Those are the issues. And no one cares what color you are, you know, what your gender is, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm sorry. I do feel like vowing to stop taking super PAC money is a great first step, but also being an honest politician. You put up a bill to stop the sale of weapons to Israel, and there's no amount of money AIPAC can spend to not get you reelected. And I feel if we had more honest politicians, then
courageous ones.
You raised.
There it is. Honest politicians. I think you might as well ask for aliens to fly a spaceship down here, pick you up, take you around the galaxy, and then drop you off right back at your front door. I think that is more likely because you see, like, these aren't honest politicians, right? And the people that do hard work, honest work, they're not the ones running. You have people like real estate agents, car salesmen. You have people like lawyers, think tank people. All these people aren't honest. They're used to conning people so that they can get money. And that is exactly what we're putting into politics. And it just doesn't work. Honest people don't want to run for politics because they know it's a sham. And a lot of the times when an honest person does run for politics, when they come out, they're not so honest. But let's listen to Bernie's answer. I think this is the end of the first part, and we'll go to the second part that's got people all riled up.
This is a very this is a good discussion.
Why are you shocked?
I'm shocked because I do a lot of media stuff. And you're asking questions that are not often asked.
This episode has been promoted by Walter.
All right, there you go. Now, let me find this second part here. Okay, here it is. This is the other part. You know, and here we just watch it.
Ostensibly, there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008. Are they not also a threat to democracy? We often hear.
Fair enough. That is. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that point. And that's why I'm proudly an independent. What we're trying to do now, and I will just reinforce the point both of you made. The hatred that we felt in 2016, 2020 from the Democratic establishment. I'll give you an example. We would do rallies and we have thousands of people, often young people of color coming out, working class people coming out. They were great, full of energy. Yeah. And then we go to Democratic Party events. And there'd be a few hundred people, mostly older, whiter, wealthier. And you saw the clash. And the establishment did not want to open the door. They hated the idea that all these people whose hands were a little bit dirty, who didn't have PhDs or weren't wealthy, imagine walking in, it's my party, man. You ain't getting in.
Yes.
We will fight you in the most ruthless ways that we can. And that's the struggle. Are they going to open the door, or are they prepared to lose elections, literally, and maintain
the status quo?
Go down with the Titanic. So
I kind of, every party goes through this. I think the Republican Party went through it, like since Obama, and then, Trump was the revitalization for the Republican Party. But I think this is just a situation of the changing of the guard. And plus, as older people, you should be a little more wealthier than young people. But I think the next generation is coming in and wants to be involved, wants to make change, wants to make lives better under their rule, like their ideas. And it's just like I compare it to boomers. Like, look at how much the millennials and Gen Z are just clashing with boomers. Some of my generation, the millennials, have gotten to bed with these boomers and they're making tons of money. But it's like a changing of the guard. And I feel like the boomers have never really had to work hard. They had pensions. I mean, you could work at Pizza Hut, in the 70s and get a pension, get a retirement plan, get full health care. You could buy a house. You could buy 2 cars. You could send your kids to a good school. Like, we've never had any of that. Like, growing up as an adult, like, I was immediately thrown to the wolves and I had to struggle. And I think about it like, you get a 401k, but where's that retirement plan? Unless you join like the military or the post office or some government thing, or maybe there's really good companies, but what the hell is a pension plan? I those words are foreign to me. And the boomers are just so fucking entitled. They had it so goddamn easy. They got everything fucking handed it to them. And now they want to sit here and stifle us in politics. They want to stifle us in business. They literally just want to stifle each other while they're sitting there getting drunk at 11 fucking o'clock, looking at their $1 million+ in their bank account and their 5,000 square foot home with a fucking swimming pool and 2 brand new cars, being like, you guys are lazy, motherfucker. Who the fuck is lazy? I'm not fucking lazy. I've worked for everything that I have, and I still work to this day. Just before this, I had a client, and I was having to stop filming this several times because I have to make money. I had to make adjustments to thing like on my day off. And days off. Those are limited too. These people I was talking to a guy at a grocery store, and he said he was about to retire, and he started working for that grocery store a year before I was born. So over 40 years working at that grocery store, and they're saying they're trying to push him out because he'll get the same pay he's got a pension plan. He'll get the same pay that he's making now on his pension plan. He still has 6 motherfucking weeks of vacation every year. He has full health care, full benefits, and he's a super cool dude. But I was like, damn, 6 weeks of vacation? Shit, they make you feel bad if you even put in for that motherfucking vacation. Now at a job, they make you like, oh, you're not working 24/7. You're not hustling. It's just fucking bullshit. Fuck boomers. That's all I got to say. I'm so sick of it. And check it out. I wanted to make a whole video on this, but boomers are the rudest fucking people. You go into any store, they cut you off. They sit in the middle of the lane where nobody could buy, and they just walk like this, not caring. They want to cut in front of you the line. They cut you off in traffic. I got cut off by boomers 4 times this week alone in 3 days. Isn't that crazy? And then they look at you and honk. This motherfucker honk at me one more time, bitch.
Do you think you're forcing the door open? Because it seems like that's what's happening right now.
Exactly what we are trying to do. Right now, in the last month, we have enlisted some, I think, the latest 7,000 people who are prepared to run for office from school board to Congress.
Wow.
Not all of them will run, but they've shown interest. There are training programs that we're undertaking with other groups right now. And by the way, a good percentage of them don't want to run as Democrats. They want to run as independents.
Mm-hmm. So do you sense from the Democratic establishment that they're more willing to listen to people like you, or are you guys just going to have to kind of take it by force and win elections?
Are they, well, I don't want to, are they more willing to listen to me? No, they're not.
But they'll take on some of your ideas for salvation. Yeah. They realize they can't ignore it.
Often lip service.
Yeah.
Yes, they will. They will take on the ideas, but these guys, they want to protect what they have. So your question is you would say, look, okay. And by the way, Joe Biden, to his credit, I know everyone beats up on Biden, but what Biden did, unlike Hillary Clinton did, is he and his people saw that we had a movement. And what he did was prepared to put together task forces. We sat down with their people, and we brought people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and some of the strongest. We sit down with establish and come up with a program. A lot of what went into the American Rescue Plan, which got us out of the COVID pandemic economically pretty well, and some other stuff. So the Biden people were more open to sitting down, understanding that we represented millions of people than other people in the past, or are right now.
Well, there it is. Those are the two parts. And you just have to accept, like, politics is crazy. And people are allowed what they believe. But, you look at the comedy scene, you look at, like, Bert Kreischer and these guys, and you just can't understand. And you point out all these things, and you can't understand how you like it. And it even goes down to these low-level scum trash content creators that attract the incels of the internet. And you're like, how could you? And you could provide them as much proof that these people are scumbags, they're stupid, they're retarded, and they will like it. And you know what? This is the same with me. People think other people are retarded because they watch me. And it's just how it is. It's just how it is. But here's the point. We could all have our different beliefs and opinions, but I think we need to come together to start making some common things that all humans need: healthcare, education, a roof over their head, employment. And instead of making all these rules and laws and fighting all these like trivial identity things, they're not trivial, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to people's health, safety, and welfare, they're pretty trivial. And guarantee this, and then go, hey, America under the Constitution allows you to have beliefs, allows you to love who you want to love, allows you to dress and act how you want to act. And I think that's what we need to do. But I don't think that'll ever happen. And this conversation will be another conversation 20 years down the line, and it'll just repeat itself, just like the wars repeat themselves over and over again, just like poverty just keeps repeating itself and never gets better. This is what humans do. And unfortunately, by the time you learn these things, like, your life is over, and then the next generation has to relearn them again. So history just repeats itself and repeats itself. It just takes different forms. It just takes different identities. It just takes different vehicles for that message. But it's all just the same. And human beings just can't get their shit together. That's what it is. So let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.
Don't stay.